Everyone, welcome to another Random Talk Sunday. Apologize I had to delay this video. Unfortunately, I was having issues with audio. However, I should be caught up by the end of today. So without further ado, I thought it would be interesting to discuss my thoughts on, as you can probably see by the title as well as thumbnail, 9/11. Yes, this is a very historic date for America and even the world around, because it really did really alter a part of our history, and really changed the way we saw things as far as the United States was concerned. And it was a very tragic day. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people are impacted still to this very day and will be for the rest of their lives. And it's very unfortunate. I've never encountered anyone who was a victim or who suffered from this tragedy. But I think everybody within the United States, especially, was very sad to hear what happened, and I think we sort of kind of had a sense of kind of coming together, because you know, when something happens to, you know, Americans, it strikes a certain it strikes everybody, I think, to the core who is American. So if so for example, tragedies like Pearl Harbor or sad events really do hit home for us, that drastically impact our, you know, kind of way of life and the way we look at things. And it's definitely a day that's going to be remembered. It's really a sad topic. As far as from what I remember, I was fairly young when this happened. I was like in 4th or 5th grade. But basically, I didn't really know what happened when it did happen. All I remember is my dad heard it on the radio, and then he went inside, turned on the TV, and then we saw on the TV one of the towers burning, and I didn't know, like, we thought it was just some fire happened, like something within the building caused a fire or something like that. We had no idea that it was a plane that hit it, and we didn't figure that out until a while later. But we had to all, like, basically go to work and go to school, so we really had no idea. And it was really interesting because my teacher, she brought it up, that so did you hear about what happened today? And she had like kind of a whole discussion about it. And I think she said something to the effect of, you know, this is going to be a day that's going to be remembered, you know. She kind of reinforced that idea into us that, you know, this was something that was really serious, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't going to be the same after that. And I think that holds some truth. But when you see all of these sad and tragic events happening, you know, there's always people that are willing to help and try to do something to make it better. You know, from all of the firefighters and police, the people who were trying to save lives and help others and even risk their lives for others, you know, it just goes to show you that, you know, no matter what happens, you know, there's always going to be people that are willing to help and make a difference. And I think that's the most important thing that we can take personally out of any tragedy. Um, and uh, it's it's really nice to see the resilience and the hope that people have had over these years. It is 15 years since it happened, so it's been quite some time. But, they have this whole memorial now built and this new tall building, and, you have a sense that people are moving on, but at the same time, they're never gonna forget either. And I think that there'll always be that unfortunate hole, because this is kind of a tragedy that came in the lifetimes of a lot of people, and um, is um, completely changed a course that again cannot be, I guess, really altered. And it's definitely sad. And you see all of the documentaries, and the things that they go over of what exactly happened and the people that were there. And it's nice to see the people who experienced it and were able to be able to get out alive and share their thoughts. And it's really sad. It's unfortunate, and I usually don't like to talk about these kinds of things, but um, it is a significant mark of being 15 years since this happened. And I think after the 15 years, I've been able to really look on it with some perspective and really see that, there's there was uh, a lot of sadness and a lot of heartbreak, and definitely I will never be able to understand it in the way that somebody who's actually had some connection to it, or more direct connection to it, has had. But at the same time, I think there's this overall feeling that I think, in particular, um, America and even the world, our allies have, when we are faced with something that's just pure evil, and that's wrong and immoral. And you see it across Europe too. People, when certain tragedies happen, people mourning for those lost. Um, and I think there's a lot that was learned from what happened, and people are a lot more aware of what could possibly happen. Um, and it's unfortunate that certain events happen, and then, we kind of look at things through a more different perspective. Um, but, I just think that it's one of those days that we shouldn't forget, and should realize, what significance it has, because it's definitely not one that I think should be discarded, because there was of so much different things happening that really did um, that really were just sort of a just made such a huge mark, at least on history and on people's lives. But I think that's really all I can say about it. It's definitely one that again, it's just it's sad. And every time it kind of comes up every year, it's just like, oh yeah, that day. But it's I think it's just important that we just kind of think and reflect on it, if it comes to mind even. But yeah, I think that's really, though, ultimately all I can say about it. My heart definitely goes out to anyone who has been impacted by this, and I hope that this uh, event, you know, has the remembrance uh, and continues to um, really be a, a mark on our history of heroism and bravery, and also of not just the bad of humanity, but the good. Um, but yeah, I think that's really all I can say, though. I'd be more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say, if they've known anybody personally that's been impacted, if they were somewhere on that day. Um, be more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say, because I always like hearing from other people and their opinions and thoughts and perspectives. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, everybody.